Today we're 100% speedrunning Forager by getting all 103 achievements in the game. The speedrun starts out with us on a single island with only a pickaxe, so at the beginning we'll work on gaining experience by mining the trees, bushes, and rocks around us. Then once we reach level 2, we can get our first skill, Industry. This lets us gain XP when building structures. So now we can use the wooden berries we've collected to build fish traps to gain some XP before destroying them and repeating the same process. We'll continue doing this till we reach level 3 and can get the economy skill, which instantly gives us 40 coins, and that's enough to buy the island to the right of us. And the puzzle on this island I knew right away, since it's just pressing the pillars in the order of bottom right, top left, top right, and bottom left, which spawns a chest. We'll need to wait a bit before we can open it, but the chest can just hang out there while we build more fish traps all the way up to level 6, picking up the Mason achievement on the way. Then on level 6, we're going to want to get the skills Foraging, Hunting, and Gathering, giving us gold when we take out enemies, and more XP as we get resources. Oh, also, during the early game, anytime we're close to death by losing energy, we'll just let it happen since there's an achievement for dying 10 times anyways, and it gives us some more energy once we revive. Then on level 11, we can get the skills Combat, Farming, Mining, Geology, and Prospecting. This finally allows us to start the industrial age where we're going to make 2 furnaces and use them to smelt iron and brick, before finally clearing out our islands and collecting older resources. And while we're doing this, we'll make sure to keep our fish traps up to hopefully catch some fish and sand. After smelting enough iron, we'll build a forge, and the first thing we'll want to make with that is a shovel. So we'll keep mining resources whenever they're available and building structures for XP whenever they're not. We'll also switch around our smelters every now and then so we can get a combination of gold, glass, smoked fish, iron, and steel. Now upon level 13, we can get the skills Sewing and Textiles and then make a sewing station to create threads. Then eventually we've obtained enough resources to make a shovel, and now anytime there's one of these whole things in the ground, we'll want to dig it up and hope to get gems. Also, after the shovel's done, we can then use the forge to make bottles, which can catch insects like these torch bugs since they're used in a few recipes later on. Once we're up to level 15, it's time to unlock Bargain and Capitalism, which means anytime we discard an item, we get money and experience from it. This is nice since we don't have much inventory space at the beginning, and this lets us get rid of junk while making money for more islands, like this top one that gave us a free chest. So at this point, I realized that I should probably make some keys to open the 2 available chests, and we ended up getting a top hat, which makes coins worth 50% more money, and a shield, which gives a 25% chance to dodge attacks. We were also able to buy the left island, which spawns in a fairy pond, but we don't have much use for it just yet. At the very least though, it's more area for resources to spawn. Now we'll just continue the process of mining more things, buying our 5th island, which gave us the Expansionist achievement, building more gear like the backpack, which gives us extra spots in our inventory, and dying 10 times to get the Hopeless achievement. Then once we get level 16, we can choose the Deposit skill, which unlocks quarries. These are a structure that spawns tons of rocks onto an island, but they cost 5 of each gem, so as we go, we'll continue looking for gems from rocks and digging spots. Another thing to constantly be looking out for is cows and white boars. These drop hide when you kill them, which we need and able to craft leather, so that's something I always keep an eye out for. So over the next little bit, I was able to craft a slime bow, get the gemologist achievement for having 1 of each gem in my inventory, and then get the storage skill at level 17, which unlocks vaults. Then we also got our next island, which is the rainbow one, where you can hit these mushrooms in the pattern of a rainbow to spawn a chest. Following that, I crafted a slime pickaxe, making all of our mining a bit faster, and soon after got a quarry, which we're able to use that new pickaxe on. This really speeds up our production a lot since it gives tons of iron, gold, and coal, which will start smelting right away. I also decided to place my first vault around this time. Vaults are super nice since they're essentially extra inventory space for whenever you're on the main islands. So I just keep things here that I don't immediately need, like gems and uncooked fish. We'll also build more vaults throughout the run as we need them. After that, we were able to finally open the rainbow chest, which gave us vampire wings, giving us the chance to recover health when killing enemies, followed by the hoarder achievement for having 1,000 items in our inventory, angler for catching 50 fish, a slime wallet which makes coins worth 25% more money, and then we finally bought our next island where it's time to do some murdering. See, these turnip guys are really nice. Even while you kill them, they still say they love you. but it does give us the monster achievement for taking them out and a bunch of turnips to sell, so yeah, I regret nothing. The island they were on is also the perfect place to move our quarry, since the more open space the better to spawn more rocks in. I then crafted a slime sword and bought the last 2 islands of the starting 9, which gave us the museum and a foraging obelisk. Museum we'll get to later, and the foraging obelisk is kinda nice since it gives extra XP for gathering herbs and crops, but I don't really worry about using it too much. Now from here, our main objective is to just get as much money and resources as possible, and to help with that, we got to level 19, which unlocked both gambling and optics. So that means we finally get lighthouses, which are very overpowered in this game. Lighthouses are a building that increases drops in their radius by 50%, and this effect stacks over multiple of them. So we'll want to get our first one by the quarry, and now it's even more valuable to mine there. But their true value doesn't really come in until we have a huge amount, so we'll keep working on building them as we get more resources. Anyways, next up we got the Jealous achievement for having 100 jelly in our inventory, and at level 20 we unlocked Alchemy, which lets us build cauldrons. These are extremely good for one reason only, and that's bombs. Bombs cost us steel, some jelly, and some coal, and in return they become the best way to mine our quarry in the early game with their explosions. This makes getting quarry resources so much easier, so we'll pretty much always be crafting bombs. Oh, and speaking of crafting, we got the Smelter achievement for crafting 500 furnace items around the same time. And then we just continued grinding more money with the quarry, selling things like extra gems and obsidian until we could start buying islands in the graveyard biome. First one was the skeleton island, which I'll worry about later, and the second one was a pretty easy puzzle where you can bomb the statues to put them on fire and get a chest. I then got level 21 while waiting for the key to be made, giving us the ballistics skill before opening the chest and getting the fish net. This is probably my favorite artifact since it makes our fish traps automatically collect themselves, which is great in early games since it's really hard to get glass, and fish traps can collect sand, which makes glass. So I put some fish traps by our lighthouses and just let them do their thing. Now a bit later, I decided to go to the other graveyard island we have, which has a bunch of skeletons and 2 chests. The skeletons aren't too bad to take out and gave us the Destroyer achievement for killing 100 enemies. Then upon opening the chests, we got both the Champion achievement and 2 Spirit Orbs. Spirit Orbs are great since they let you upgrade your damage, energy, health, or immediately level up. And for right now, we'll be going for damage. Next up, we got the Skull Galaxy Island, which we'll be putting off for a while, followed by some more level ups, giving us the artistry and colonization skills, which will make purchasing lands 30% cheaper. So I decided to purchase a few islands in the desert biome, and these gave us a free chest, an old man, and the eye puzzle. First, I went to the old man who asked us to give him a golden egg, which we'll naturally find at some point during the run. Then for the eye statue, we need to shoot it with our bow, and this gave us the quiver, which makes it so that bows no longer consume arrows. Then finally, the free chest is as simple as running in there with a key and getting the lunar medallion, which points at the location of the nearest star and makes starfalls more common. But what we really care about is the quiver, since now we can freely shoot enemies without any worry, and even use our bow to mine things since it's more efficient than the pickaxe. So I decided might as well also craft the golden bow to make things even more efficient, and we quickly got the marksman achievement for shooting 100 arrows. Oh yeah, by the way, how tools work in this game is you have to sequentially work up to better and better ones. So we started with the slime bow, which was some jelly, wood, and iron ingot. Then we were able to get the golden bow with gold, brick, and thread, and next up will be the skull bow with steel, glass, and great skulls. For future weapon upgrades in the run, for the most part I'll skip over explaining them, but just know I'm pretty much always working towards the next one. Anyways, next achievement we obtained was Big Hoarder for having 5,000 items in our inventory, and we got our next level up with the skill Logistics, which makes our lighthouses have double the area of effect. And for another achievement in quick succession, we got Sharpshooter for killing an enemy with a single arrow shot. Then it was time to really start going, because now I decided to sell all the coal in my inventory, which gave us tons of money, before mining a bit more in the quarry to keep our furnaces going. This put us at over 8,000 gold, and we'll be using this strategy a lot. By the way, really quick, if you do end up enjoying the video, please subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Now with this money, I got some more desert biome islands, and we got 2 good ones. First was the Sword Statue Island, where you need to hit the statue with a sword at nighttime to get a chest. And while waiting for a key to open it, we also got a level up for the jewelry skill, unlocking amulets. After that, we opened the chest from the sword statue and got the lantern, which is a friend who lights up the area around us. Next up, it was time for the ancient tomb. In this building, we need to find 3 secret rooms, which you can open by bombing them, and use these electric cubes to power doorways to get around the dungeon. Honestly, the puzzles are pretty simple, but it does give us the thunder rod, which zaps enemies and powers structures. And then after finding the other 2 secret rooms in here, we got the secret finder achievement for finding 3 secret rooms. Then it was time for a boss fight against the thunder elemental. Too bad for them though, you can completely cheese this fight by sitting in the doorway and shooting your bow. So it was an easy win that got us the royal achievement for gathering the royal steel that the boss dropped, Tomb Raider for completing the ancient tomb, and a heart container which puts us up to 4 hearts. Now back into the main world, it was time to buy our first snow biome island, and we could not have gotten a better one. This island is nice since you get to destroy a giant crystal, getting the miner achievement and a bunch of resources, but more importantly, this island is the perfect new home for our quarry. So we'll move our quarry and lighthouses to the snow island, and we're gonna wait to buy the islands at the top, left, and right of this one till the very end so we can fill the surrounding area with even more lighthouses. Then I decided to buy some more graveyard islands. In this first one, we met the creator of the game, Hot Frog, who gave us a quiz. We, of course, get every question wrong, giving us the Jester achievement and a chest. Then I pick up level 26 with the architecture skill, making structures cost less materials and giving our vaults more inventory space. After that, we finally paid the Fairy Queen 1000 gold, which got us the Fairy Helper achievement along with Fairy Aura, which provides passive health and energy regeneration, followed by opening Hot Frog's chest to get a Spirit Orb, and then it was time for the bell puzzle. This puzzle just requires hitting the bells in the order the sign tells you, and we got the Merchant Medallion from it, which points to the location of the secret merchant whenever he comes to the island. Then I bought another Graveyard Island, which this one you just need to roll past some spikes and get 4 more Spirit Orbs, which means more attack damage. Next up, I built our 4th lighthouse and got the Constructor achievement, and followed that up with a windmill to produce cotton seeds from fiber, before also creating our first amulet, which gives more resources. Following all that up, upon level 27 we picked up the craftsmanship skill so we can make royal steel and royal clothing, before upgrading to the water shovel, which has a bigger dig area and automatically waters the dirt. Then I chose to dig in the quarry area and plant all the cotton seeds we made in the windmill. And since they were planted right by the lighthouses, we got a huge amount of fiber and pretty much won't need to worry about it for the rest of the run. Then it was time to sell a bunch of stuff and buy 3 more islands. One was the Flaming Chest Island that we can't do too much with right now, but the next was the Princess. She loves animals, so by giving her some flowers, she'll give us some Anna's Delight potions and the Princess Helper achievement. Then she tells us that she can make us clothing that will make animals love us if we give her 2 royal clothing, so I decided to make that right now. Royal clothing is pretty expensive since it requires 2 leather, 1 of each gem, and 4 thread. So we'll just make 2 of them for now, but we'll need a lot more of it in a little bit. Then on another island we bought, there was the Ancient Galaxy. In this building, you just want to move 3 of the electric cubes over to certain statues, and after putting them in the right place, we get the Ancient Astronomer achievement. After that, I decided might as well craft a hammer. Even though we won't use it a single time, it is necessary to make, but at least it doesn't have any upgrades. And then it was time to make some berry seeds in the windmill and plant those like we did for fiber. That way we'd get a ton of berries and be able to craft more fish traps around the quarry. Now it was time to massively expand our furnace area so we could have even more resources constantly be created, especially since it was finally time for royal steel. Like royal clothing, royal steel takes 1 of every single gem, along with 1 steel and 4 coal. We're going to want a lot of it, so we're starting production early. Then upon getting level 28, it was time for the manufacturing skill, which unlocks factories, followed by a few more island purchases in the desert biome. For this flower one, you just need to dig in the part that has no flowers, and it gave us the skeleton mask that makes basic skeletons not attack us. And then on this other island with this center statue thing, we need to use our thunder rod, and that gives us 4 small chests just filled with some gems. Right after that, I also got an achievement for digging up 50 items, and our first set of slime boots, which increase move speed and your chance to dodge an attack. Then I gave 2 royal clothing to the princess, and in return got the pink bow, which makes animals spawn more often and drop more resources. But finally, it was time to make a lot of money. See, at this point we were able to build up our lighthouse collection pretty well, so with the next quarry drop, I was able to sell 16.4 thousand gold, giving us 3 level ups and 75,000 coins. And this was really just the start, because then I destroyed and rebuilt my quarry again, spawning in rocks right away. Oh yeah, I also turned off item notifications and building AoE since those were getting annoying. But with this next quarry drop, I got the Bomberman achievement for having 3 bombs active at once, Wealthy for having over 100,000 coins, and a ton more skill points, which we spent on drilling, automation, machinery, smelting, thaumaturgy, and faith. Then it was time to expand our furnace area even more, pick up some slime gloves which increase our attack speed, then start making gold gloves, boots, and a wallet before buying tons of islands in the fire biome. For now though, there's only a few we care about. First, on this island, you need to press down these pillars in a specific order to spawn a chest and get the nerdy glasses. Then on the next island to the right, we need to do a puzzle where we get all these pillars down at the same time, giving us a spirit orb. Third, we were able to find the wizard, who says he'll give us his magic scepter if we give him a bunch of different stuff, and an engineer who wants 10 royal steel. We'll deal with them later, but a nice thing about the engineer's island is he has a pre-built factory we can use, so we'll start making some electronics. Then I did the fire galaxy puzzle, which just comes down to reading a Reddit post and following its instructions for the solution, giving us the fire astronomer achievement. Following that, we went to this goblin dude who thinks that skeletons in the area are a problem and asked for 100 bones for a prize. I'll worry about him and the other 2 islands I bought a little later though. For now, it's back to making royal clothing and steel, getting tool upgrades, building lighthouses, and obtaining more resources. I also got another level up here, which I used to unlock inscription tables. These let you create scrolls, and what we wanted right now was a star scroll, so I went to find some nightshade to help me make it. Then while out, I stopped by the fire chest island. This chest takes 1 heart from you, but gives you some sort of upgrade or resources. In my first 2 rolls, I unfortunately just got some food and gems, but we'll be coming back here later and hopefully get some better stuff. Then it was another level up time, so I got conjuration to make magic structures faster before I visited the quarry again, sold some more coal, and got over 500,000 coins and a few more levels where we chose astrology, management, physics, fishing, engineering, and summoning. So it was time to make an offshore drill which makes bottled oil and will come in useful later once we need to make plastic. Also, once our star scroll was finally finished, I used it in my quarry area and got tons of star fragments that we could use for a shrine. Shrines are structures that give you a temporary buff that can be a few different things. Like this time we got industrious, which makes all structures work twice as fast. I then destroyed the shrine and rebuilt it, which does cost a bit more resources, but it's generally not that bad, and got the merchant boon, which I didn't really care about right now. But regardless, I felt like this was a good time to build some sigil makers, which we'll use to create a bunch of slime sigils. Then I got the artisan achievement for crafting 10,000 items, before doing some more work on the quarry, and before I knew it, we were a millionaire because of coal. Now at this point, whenever we level up, I'm pretty much just going to blindly pick skills. Before I went for specific skills as I needed them, but we got all the really important ones already. Another thing I began paying attention to is now a lot of our tool upgrades started taking really specific requirements, like the golden pickaxe needing 5 bottled beetles for some reason, so I decided to start bringing bottles around everywhere I went so we could catch a lot of every single bug. Soon after that, I got the Spelunker achievement for digging up an archaeology item, followed by the Summoner achievement for obtaining the slime sigil. Then it was time to buy some more graveyard biome islands. One of these you just fight some big skeletons and it gave us some more health, and the other being Skull Maze. This is probably one of the harder dungeons in the game since to 100% complete it, we need to light every skull statue and find 3 hidden rooms while making it through to the end. It can be really confusing since it's a maze, but thankfully I remembered all the hidden room locations, found the Necro Rod which can spawn skeletons, got the Illuminator achievement by lighting all the torches, and finished the maze to get Treasure Hunter for opening 20 big chests, and got the Pathfinder achievement for completing the maze. Then after exiting, I bought 2 more islands in the winter biome, but we'll worry about both of those later. For now, it was time to make a moldy book in our inscription table which increases XP gain, and like most of our gear, we'll be upgrading this throughout the run. After that, we gave the goblin dude his 100 bones, which got us the Goblin Helper achievement and a chest, before I decided to go to the demon chest again, this time getting some more potions, some gems, and finally good luck with the Doom Boon, which gives a bunch of demonic magic scrolls. And that's really good since now we can bring our slime sigil over to the quarry area and completely destroy the Slime King with these scrolls. Well, I guess I died too, but thankfully you get a few lives to take out the boss, so we loaded back in and got the Slime Regicide achievement for beating the boss and Daredevil achievement for dodging a lethal attack. Beating the Slime King also gives 4 spirit orbs, and we'll end up using all of those on health before going straight back to the demon chest. And finally in this trip, we got our first droid and the Robotic achievement along with it. In general, we pretty much always either want droids or demon scrolls from this chest if they're available. But droids are especially good because they can mine resources, pick resources up, and attack enemies. So our main goal right now is to get a ton of them. Then it was time to set up an animal lure in our quarry area to get a cow to show up and give it animal feed to get a ton of poop along with the disgusting achievement. Some magic deer also came to the lure, so I also killed them and got the greedy achievement before building some factories. Factories are super important right now since the more electronics we make, the more slime sigils we can make. And while waiting for those electronics to be made, I decided to set up some fish traps in each biome. Every biome has a special fish you need to catch and a special artifact you need to dig up. These are important for a couple tools later on, and we'll also need them for when we decide to complete the museum. Then I stopped by the old man and gave him his golden egg, which he was disappointed by, but we got the old people helper achievement and another chest along with it. And after that, it was time to build some flower presses. See, probably the most annoying achievement in this game is the one where you need to fill every water space up with a structure or piece of land. So we'll be using these flower presses and the large amount of poop we have to make a ton of landfills. And from now on, whenever we're waiting for other things, we can fill up water tiles. Then it was Slime King number 2 time, where we got an easy win, followed by giving the engineer some royal steel for the engineer helper achievement, and then the acrobat achievement where you dodge 10 attacks. I also went back to the demon chest and this time got a bunch more droids, which was really nice, along with our last level up, which gives us the skillful achievement. After that, might as well create a couple more sigil makers so we can increase our slime sigil production, and then I also grabbed the spirit orb from the golden egg chest before buying 2 more winter biome islands, both of which I'll deal with later. For now, it was just the constant process of beating slime kings, obtaining a bunch of extra health, which also gave us the tough achievement, and then using that health on more demon chest rolls. And of course, we also kept increasing our factory amount to make even more electronics for even more slime kings. Here's when I also decided to get the Rain Buddy achievement by using a bottle on the rainbow and then giving that to a structure. And then I also used a shrine to get the excavator boon, which instantly spawns a bunch of diggable spots, and that gave us tons of more resources. This will be the main way we find each biome's artifact, by the way. Next up, while I was setting up landfills, we got the Pillager achievement for destroying 100 gravestones, and also finally picked up the Goblin's chest that we spawned a while ago, which gave us the Skull Key, and that opens all treasure chests without needing a key. Yeah, probably should have opened this one earlier since it was just sitting there. Then back at the demon chest, we selected the challenge boon and got the occult achievement before I also decided to start putting down power plants to speed up our factories. These cost 4 electronics, but they're super worth it since they speed up all nearby structures, so they're a good add into our Slime King gameplay loop. Next up, we obtained the cinder blooms the wizard wanted, giving us the wizard helper achievement, but he still needs more things before he'll give us his super cool staff. So he asked for some star fragments, which were easy enough to provide, but then he finally asked for void steel, which we don't have yet. So out of anger, I entered his house and used a bomb on his wall, which revealed another secret room we need to find. Anyways, we'll finish him out later. For now, we're gonna buy the island to his right, which has a free shrine we can use, and an NPC who for once doesn't have any tasks for us. Pretty nice of him. Then we'll make even more factories and have a couple of them make plastic and fiberglass. Don't need as much of these as we do electronics, but they will be useful for some of our gear. And finally, once I had tons of droids and a bunch of demon scrolls, it was time to enter the void. Oh yeah, earlier I made the void portal, forgot to mention. But anyways, this trip is really important since we need to make it to level 30 and get a bunch of important items in a single trip. Now at the start, the void is super easy since there aren't any bosses, and I pretty much just let my droids do all the damage while I find spots I can dig in. We want to find onyx relics from these spots since we need a bunch for later. Then on floor 5, we got the Void Scout achievement, along with a chest for finishing the floor that gives extra void materials, and these chests will appear every 5 floors. And how this goes from here is as we get deeper into the void, harder enemies start spawning. On floor 9, we got the Thunder Elemental, and with those guys, instead of letting our droids do all the damage, we'll use some demon scrolls. Then upon floor 10, that's the Void Explorer achievement. Next up, on floor 14, we start getting ice wizards, and on floor 19, we get great demons. Still not too hard of enemies just yet though, and on floor 20, that's the Void Champion achievement. But finally, floor 24 spawns Slime Kings, and floor 29 spawns Skeleton Kings. These guys take a lot more damage than the other bosses in the Void, but we're so overpowered at this point that it doesn't really matter, and by defeating the first Skeleton King, we get the Bone Regicide achievement. These fights also give us some really good resources like legendary gems and great skulls, both of which we'll use for tools later on. And not even 30 minutes after entering the Void, we reach floor 30 and get the Void Master achievement. We'll still want to complete floor 30 though, so we get extra resources from the chest, but after that we can quit to the main menu and go back to the main world. So with all our new materials, it's time to make a bunch of spirit forges and use those to craft great skulls and void steel. The great skulls will be used for skull gear, and we need the void steel for the level above that, void gear. After setting our spirit forges up, we want to go back into the void and clear the first level. Then we'll drink a liquid luck to make it easier to find rare items and make resources drop double. Here we need to fish in the void to try to get a total of 40 Kraken eyes, but after getting 9, I realized that I should be getting 4 at a time instead of 3. My mistake was I didn't have the crystal amulet yet, so I went back to build that, along with building the void bow to get the otherworldly achievement and the void amulet for even more extra drops. Then we went back into the void again and finished up our fishing. Next up, I got pretty lucky and was able to buy 3 toxic sigils from the secret merchant. This meant we could do the toxic guardian fight immediately, and this gave us the toxic vanquisher achievement. Then I decided to plant a few more berry seeds to get more fish traps in all regions of the map, which got us the irrigator and harvester achievements. Now a little bit later, after upgrading all our gear to void tier, it was time to work on making them cosmic gear. Our first one was the cosmic amulet, which got us the galactic achievement, but the rest of these tools are really expensive. To make cosmic steel, you need 2 void steel, 2 legendary gems, and 2 star fragments. The void steel and star fragments aren't too bad, but the only way to get legendary gems is by fighting sigil bosses. This is another reason why we've been fighting so many slime kings, and because of this, we're going to keep fighting them throughout the rest of the run. Next thing of note that happened was we beat Skull Galaxy. This room gives you 4 riddles, and you need to place those riddles corresponding items on their pedestal. The answer for this is left water, top key, right paper, and bottom fish to get the Skull Astronomer achievement. Next up, I decided to do the Fire Temple, and this is the only dungeon with 4 secret rooms instead of 3, so I made sure to bomb all of those, and we also got the Fire Rod here for our troubles. Finally, the boss of the temple was extremely easy, and that's the Demon Hunter achievement. Then it was time to deliver 10 Void Stones to the wizard, and in return we got the Magic Scepter, which makes all of our rods have infinite charge, which will be super useful in just a little bit. After that, I went to the Stone Princess statue, and we needed to give her a Cinder Bloom, which gets us a big chest and Spirit Orb. And then for the Winter Island with the chest covered by ice crystals, I was able to use our Fire Rod to melt them, and that's another big chest gotten. Now it was time to help the Druid who wants 2 Torch Bugs to get the Druid Helper achievement. But like everybody else in this game, he's greedy, so then we needed to make him 30 tree saplings for his second mission, and for the final one he asked for a dinosaur egg, which you can get from digging in the fire biome, but we'll deal with that later. Because now we finally have gotten to the point where all our gear is crystal quality, and all that's left is to make it nuclear. For this we need to make nuclear machinery, which requires 1 cosmic steel, 1 nuclear fuel cell, which can also be made in a factory, and 1 onyx relic. Yeah, things just keep getting more and more expensive, but that pretty much just means keep doing what we've already been doing and slowly work up to our last few tools. I also kept making sure to catch critters in bottles and got the bug catcher achievement for catching 100. Now next up, we use the Spirit Forge to upgrade our Necro Rod into a Death Rod and Fire Rod into a Meteor Rod. This makes both of them much more powerful. Then I faced off against some Toxic Guardians to get enough Toxic Sludge for a Nuclear Sword. This got us the Radioactive achievement, and now, along with taking out Slime Kings whenever we're waiting, we'll also be using our Death Rod to spawn in tons of skeletons before killing them with our new Nuclear Sword. This gives us the Swordmaster achievement for killing 3 enemies with a single swing, and it produces tons of uranium and toxic sludge, which are essential for nuclear machinery. And since we need a lot of nuclear machinery, this is the most convenient way of keeping production going. While doing that, I also did some of our last few objectives. First, I decided to work on the museum. For this, you need to bring a bunch of different items over and add them to their corresponding bundles. Pretty much all of it we either collected in the last 5 hours, or we could collect pretty easily in a little bit. So we filled up most of the museum and got both Master Forager and Master Chef from completing those bundles, before then heading to the graveyard biome and putting all our gems on their corresponding podiums to get another big chest. Then I finally decided to buy the remaining land we needed, which did remove our lighthouses, but we didn't really need them anymore, and it also gave us the Imperialist achievement. In these new areas, I went to the ghost first, who's trying to get better at scaring people. We need to give him 2 demon horns to get the Ghost Helper achievement, and secondly a Kappa Valhalla for a big chest. After that, it was Frozen Galaxy time, where we need to put the correct pictures on each machine, resulting in the Frozen Astronomer achievement. And then I went to this Snow Wizard guy who wants us to battle him and his brothers, which we are definitely too overpowered for right now, but it gives us the Duelist achievement and the Holy Relic, which is our last artifact, so we get the achievement Artifact Collector. Next up, we'll talk to this Fox guy, which gave us the Extrovert achievement for talking to every NPC, and for some reason, he wants a bunch of poop. Look, I'm not gonna judge, so we give him what he needs, and this gives us Fox Helper. Finally, for the winter biome, all that's left is Crystal Cave, and like usual with these dungeons, we need to find 3 secret rooms. The gimmick in Crystal Cave is turning different crystals to reflect light, which melts the stuff blocking doorways. So we made our way through and eventually got the Ice Rod, our final secret room with the Enlightened achievement, and a very easy boss kill, which gave us the Unscarred achievement for completing a dungeon without taking damage, and Icebreaker achievement for completing the Crystal Cave. Now at this point, we had almost all our gear fully upgraded to nuclear, but even after that gear was done, we would still need an additional 100 nuclear machinery. So my hope was to have every other achievement done by the time we reached that 100. First, we upgraded our Ice Rod to a Blizzard Rod. Then after that, I finished the Museum Mining Bundle before picking up some dinosaur eggs from the Fire biome. Yep, we could finally finish the Druid's request, giving us the Diligent achievement. Following that, I finally built the Obliterator, which lets you destroy anything with the click of a button, including pieces of land. So since I still needed Sunken Ankhs to make the Storm Rod, I went to the desert and used the Obliterator to make a nice spot with plenty of fish traps and 2 lighthouses. This got me what I needed pretty quickly after that, and when the Storm Rod was complete, that's all rods completely upgraded. I was also then able to complete the Museum Archaeology Bundle, and then my Unlimited Power achievement for completing all rods finally came up after I exited the museum, which was weird, but we got it either way. Then we went and finished the Building Bundle, Farming Bundle, and Alchemy Bundle. But here's where I noticed something kinda bad. We were just short a few Onyx relics from getting 100 nuclear machinery, so I needed to go back into the void and do some more digging. This didn't take too long though, so not the biggest deal. Then while waiting for the final nuclear machinery, I obliterated a ton of my structures since I was missing like 1 or 2 water spots that I needed to cover up. This wasn't the most fun thing in the world, but I was sure I'd find it eventually. Hopefully. But before we did, I was up to 100 nuclear machinery, so it was time to upgrade 100 machines to start using nuclear power. On the first upgrade, we got the Mad Scientist achievement, and thankfully while doing our upgrading, I saw the 1 water spot we were missing, which was hiding behind a tree branch, so that's the Waterproof achievement. Now one thing I should mention before we finish the run is what we're playing is Forager's official speedrun game mode that the developer actually put into the game. But when you do speedrun mode, for whatever reason, it automatically gives you the achievements Addicted, Coin Collector, Billionaire, and Trillionaire right at the start. Not exactly sure why, but I think Hopfrog just decided that those didn't make sense to have in a speedrun, so we get them for free. Anyways, back to the speedrun, I caught a few more torch bugs and finished the Trapping Museum bundle, so we were able to tell the museum person and get the achievements Treasure Master, Curator, and Seal Collector. Then upon upgrading 100 structures, we got Production Master, which meant there was just a few more achievements and they're all pretty easy. First, we needed to eat a gem to get the Gourmand achievement, win a jackpot on a gambling machine to get the Winner achievement, make a bunch of forges and craft 2,000 coins to get the Mint achievement, and finally make a Beat Sigil and defeat the Dark Beat to finish out with Not a Monster. And finally, that's the 100% Forager speedrun done in 6, 39, 35, which puts us at 36th place on the game's leaderboards, but clearly there's a few people using some sort of hacks or glitches, so it's not 100% correct for our category. Instead, we can check the regular speedrun leaderboards and see we got 2nd place, at least for this site. Alright, subscribe if you enjoyed, bye.